Hi, it's Madame Albertine. Today we will sew these two material baby bib step by step. The layer of cotton covering the terry cloth is super soft for wiping the sensitive skin of babies. Additionally, this model has the advantage of being suitable for all ages thanks to the tie straps. You will find the link to the PDF pattern in description below this video. Thank you for all who will support my channel by downloading it. In addition to your sewing machine and basic accessories, you will need a piece of printed cotton fabric at least 40 by 30 centimeters or 16 by 12 inches, a piece of terry cloth at least 40 by 80 centimeters or 16 by 32 inches. Here I'm using honeycomb fabric. 70 centimeters or 28 inches of folded bias tape, 20 millimeters wide or 3/4 of an inch, thread matching the terry cloth and the bias tape, an erasable FriXion pen, and of course the printed pattern. Start by printing only page 2 of the provided PDF file. Be sure to select the actual size option in the print settings to ensure the scale is set to 100%. On the printed page, measure one side of the verification square with a ruler. If it doesn't measure 5 centimeters or 2 inches, as in this example, refer to the annex at the end of this video for how to fix the issue. However, if the square does measure 5 centimeters, 2 inches, you can print pages 1 and 3. Carefully cut out all the pieces following the contours. The terry cloth pattern needs to be assembled. Align these two parts along the joining line and use tape to hold them together. Now we will pin the patterns to the fabrics. Take the printed fabric and fold it in half, ensuring the fold is parallel to the fabric grain. Place the patterned name cotton fabric on top, aligning it with the fold, as indicated. Pin all around. Now, cut the folded fabric along the edges of the pattern. Remove the pins and unfold the fabric. Repeat this process with the honeycomb fabric using the pattern named terry cloth. Before removing all the pins, use the FriXion pen to mark the two ribbon markers on one side. Then, with 4 pins, pass through the fabric at the ends of these marks to transfer them onto the other side as well. You now have the backside of the bib. Use the terry cloth pattern a second time to cut another identical piece. This time, do not transfer the ribbon markers. You now have the front side of the bib on which we will sew the printed fabric. Before that, we will draw a guide to know exactly where to position it. Place the cotton fabric pattern, aligning it with one corner of the front side of the bib. With a ruler, draw a line 2 cm or 3/4 of an inch below the edge of the pattern, as I'm doing here. This guide will help you sew the fabric in the right place. Take the printed fabric, wrong side up, and place it against the line you just drew. Pin it. Using your sewing machine, stitch the printed fabric with a straight stitch 1 cm or 3/8 of an inch from the edge. For this stitch, as with the others, make a few back stitches at the start and end. Fold the printed fabric over to the right side and press the seam with an iron. Let's move on to making the ribbons. Take your bias tape. At both ends, fold it as follows. First, cut off the 2 corners. Fold the end of the bias, then fold the 2 new corners toward the center. Hold everything in place and fold the bias in half. Secure with a pin. On your ironing board, fold the bias along its entire length and press the fold with an iron. Pin every 5 cm or 2 inches. Then cut the bias in the middle to get 2 35 cm or 14 inches long ribbons. With a straight stitch, top stitch 2 mm or 1/16 of an inch from the edge. When you reach the end of the ribbon, remember to lift the presser foot to neatly extend the top stitching into the corner. Now, take the back side of the bib where the 4 ribbon marks are. Between these marks, place the ribbons symmetrically against the edge of the bib. Pin them. Then make a small stitch 5 mm or 1/4 of an inch from the edge. We are now ready to assemble the bib. To avoid sewing the ribbons into the seams, pin them in the center. Similarly, add a few pins to the printed fabric to keep it in place. Place the 2 sides of the bib right-sized together. Pin all around. Be careful to leave a 10 cm or 4 inches opening on the side of the bib so you can turn it right side out after sewing. Just above the printed fabric, mark the area not to sew. You can then sew around the bib with a straight stitch 1 cm or 3/8 of an inch from the edge. Before turning the bib right side out, remove the pins and notch all the curves with scissors, being careful not to cut the seams. Finally, reach through the opening to turn the bib inside out. Push out the corner fully. The last step is to sew invisible hand stitches to close the opening. This diagram shows you how to proceed. It's important that the stitches connecting the two parts are perfectly aligned. Congratulations, your bib is complete! If the verification square measures less than 5 cm or 2 inches, while the actual size option is selected, here's what to do. We need to calculate 5 by 100 divided by printed square side. In my example, the verification square measures 4.8 centimeters or 1 7/8 inches, so 5 by 100 divided by 4.8. I get the following result. In the print settings, select Custom Scale and enter the obtained value, here 104%, before printing again.